Even before its invasion of Ukraine began on February of 2022, Russia has conducted a series of cyber attacks against both the country's internet infrastructure and other critical services in an attempt to destabilize Ukraine. This is the Digital Prepper, and today I'm going to be talking about why Russia is failing with their cyber attack attempts on Ukraine, how this is affecting us, and what you can do now to prepare. Before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that if you do like the video and want to discuss anything regarding digital preparedness, or just preparedness in general, be sure to help this video get out to more potential preppers by leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing to see more like this. With that being said, let's get started. Since the beginning of Russia invading Ukraine, at least 6 different Russia-aligned hacking groups have launched over 237 cyber attacks against Ukraine from February 23rd to April 8th of 2022. This includes 38 separate destructive events that have destroyed files in hundreds of systems across dozens of organizations in Ukraine. Some of the ransomware and malware that has been used for these events include ones like Whispergate, Hermetic Wiper, Hermetic Ransom, Isaac Wiper, Caddy Wiper, Desert Blade, 00, and Indestroyer 2. All of these are data wipers that are designed to overwrite data and render machines unbootable. And of those 38 destructive attacks on Ukraine, 32% of those are estimated to have singled out Ukrainian government organizations at the national, regional, and city levels, with other attacks aimed at organizations in critical infrastructure sectors in the nations. Other malicious attacks involve phishing campaigns that are targeting military entities, government officials, as well as data theft and reconnaissance operations. Now, even with all of the ransomware and malware that Russia is using to disable machines in Ukraine, researchers actually believe that Russia is failing in its mission to shake Ukraine's cyber resilience, as Ukraine is successfully thwarting their cyber attacks. Reports of cyber activity between these two states have dwindled somewhat in recent months, but this is not because of a lack of attacks. It's actually because of the lack of media attention because of the fact that Ukraine is staving off these cyber attacks, and for the media, attacks that are not successful don't really make the news. According to researchers, Ukraine has been able to defend itself in both the real world but also the online world. And some researchers have stated that they might be the best country in Europe to defend their networks from these Russian cyber attacks. At this point, Ukraine is currently experiencing 3 times more attacks as it was this time last year. What also might be helping with this is the fact that many major tech companies like Microsoft and Google have also actively disrupted attacks from Russia by doing things like taking control of internet domains that Russian hackers are using to attack Ukrainian entities. So, with all of this being said, what can we do now to prepare? Well, first, we have to answer the question of how can we prepare for something that's virtually invisible and that we wouldn't even be able to track or know when it's coming. It honestly comes down to being proactive. Now, for larger companies that might do business with Ukraine, this means doing things like expecting the worst and making sure that all of their security controls are as up to date as possible. These places should also pay attention to the security basics like backups and multi-factor authentication, as these would be the starting points for most hackers. Finally, they should expect communications to be unreliable and have backup plans for how to communicate via other means if they intend to continue operating during this conflict. For us normal people, it's a bit different, as we just need to focus on making sure that our things like our home networks and devices are up to date and secure. Check out my other videos on how to get started with this. Other than securing our own networks and devices, we should also be prepared for if these cyber attacks affect facilities around us. For an example, even having a store of food and water is a start for dealing with the supply chain issues that we're currently having. People that were prepared when the Colonial Pipeline was shut down already had gas cans ready and stored so that they could fill up their vehicles without having to worry about traveling long distances and waiting in long lines for gas. People who had extra stores of water bottles or even had water filtration systems were prepared for when the news about the water treatment facilities were hacked. To wrap things up, even though people and preppers like myself and others are giving their support to Ukraine, the number of cyber attacks on Ukraine will most likely increase. And with that, hopefully this means more failures from these bad actors. Unfortunately, this can potentially grow into more attacks on other countries if they haven't already occurred. Cyber attacks are not something to take lightly, and like most things, I try to give you guys simple solutions to be able to advance yourselves in your digital preparedness to possibly be able to protect yourselves from these kinds of threats. So I would recommend getting started today. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to get more videos like this that will help you with your digital preparedness. If you have any ideas for more videos, or just want to share your experiences with prepping, please leave a comment down below. Stay safe, stay prepared, more digital prepping to come.